Welcome to the Mayor's Forum. My name is Matt Hayden, Deputy Township Administrator for Egg Harbor Township. I'm filling in for the Mayor this segment. My guest today is Cynthia Domino, Artistic Director of Cygnus Creative Arts Center. Welcome, Cindy. It's been a few years since you've been on the Mayor's Forum.
Yes, it's been a while. 25 years now.
Well, no, welcome. How long has Cygnus been serving the residents of Egg Harbor Township?
We've been serving them for 25 years. This year, 2018, is our 25th anniversary. And we are very appreciative that Cygnus has been a part of the township and has been able to serve the residents for all of this time. We opened in September 1993. Township granted us ownership of being the local arts agency within the township, and since 1993 we've operated classes in the old McKee City building.
That's great. 25 years, it doesn't seem that long since Township Committee recognized Cygnus as a township local arts agency.
No, Cygnus, we've done a lot in 25 years, and it's because of the township support and the positivity and your encouragement, and if we ever needed anything, we'd come to you. And we were in the McKee City School for the first 15 years, and then the township granted us space in the new Egg Harbor Township Community Center, and we've been there for the last 10 years. The township felt the arts were extremely important for the township, for the culture of the township. In fact, arts in any community or any base are important for the culturalization of the people and the residents of the area because they bring a different dimension. And the township actually put Cygnus on the same playing field as sports. And just as you take care of the playing fields, you build your field houses, you cut their grass for soccer, you maintenance the trash and everything, Cygnus is taken care of the same way. We lease the space in the township building now, and because of your allowing us to continue to foster the arts through the community, we've grown for the 25 years. So thank you. We appreciate all your help.
That's great. And when you went from McKee City to the community center, that had to be a big transition, I imagine.
It was exciting because in the McKee City building, we were calling you guys all the time. The deal was in the old McKee City building, it was a land swap, as I had learned it a long time ago, between the Department of Education and the township. So we had acquired the building, but we had to be under the auspices of the township because we had wanted to buy the building flat out, and we were told we weren't able to. So they maintenanced the building. It was their land, it was their building and their property, and we took care of all of the interior work. Now we moved into the new building, it was like, oh my goodness, now we have this large rent to pay, and everything else is in, the electric and the phone and things like that we pay. So that was an adjustment, but we were okay. Our student population grew, we're tuition driven. We're not so necessarily, everybody thinks we're paid, the township subsidizes us. The township doesn't give us a dime. They built the space, they said, here's your space, here's your rent, this is what you pay, and we're basically tuition driven.
That's great. So what type of programming are you currently engaged in?
Right now, this moment in time, I just launched my Art for the Young at Heart program. What that program is a 65 plus program to outreach to the seniors, and we offer visual art classes. The visual art classes are basically to hone your fine motor skills, your creative imagination. It's really good to get back into it if you haven't done it for a while. It's a beautiful environment. You can sit, you can stand, as the picture has demonstrated. And we also have chair Zumba, Zumba Gold, and dance movement classes because everybody's body needs to stay in shape as far as movement capability. Nobody's asking anyone to be a rock star or a rockette. We're just giving the opportunity for seniors to go through balance. The Zumba is part of the Art for the Young at Heart. All the classes are also free for the residents of Atlantic County. It's through the grant that I acquire every year through Atlantic County, and it's in part through the New Jersey Council of the Arts. And the Atlantic County Block Grant is where I get the subsidization to pay for my teachers that run the programs.
And that's just for Zumba? Or
that's just for the whole Art for the Young at Heart, the drawing, the painting, the Zumba, the dance.
Oh, that's great. And that's through a grant through the county?
Yes.
That's great. So you're involved with any other county-based groups?
ARC of Atlantic County. ARC of Atlantic County has the special needs constituents, and I always had wanted to go out. The dance teacher is a certified dance movement therapist from Drexel University, and she reached out to ARC to participate in our programs in the afternoon. They bus the students over. And then she sets them through different types of activities, whether it's using props or she gave them awards for participating. They participate in our dance recital at the end of the year every year, so they're inclusive within our dance program. And they also go out into the community for the holidays when we dance and perform for the assisted living and Betty Bacharach and things like that. So they're active in what we do.
So it's really, the arts is really bringing the community together, not only in health-wise, as you mentioned before, but it's also to bring the community together.
Right, and I mean, the purpose of Cygnus was to bring the arts into the community, so you have to have different layers of programming so that everyone has a different entry point to come into. And if you're just going to focus on, I'm only going to do 4 through teenagers for dance, that eliminates everything that is out there to continue to grow. I would like to start an outreach program for the underserved. And that would be a totally different type of a grant block that you'd write for to subsidize that program with the dance teachers. So, I mean, there's different ways you can go to start to get deeper into the community needs and assets and things like that. So
that's great. So it's not meant to just focus on one group.
No.
It's really the entire
It's
community.
universal, right. Anyone can do that. I mean, like I had said, dovetailing back to the sports, not everybody's going to be a baseball player or soccer or football or whatever, street hockey. So why not do a drawing class? Why not go to Tyler School of Art? Why not go to Westminster Choir College for music or voice? Why not? Why can't you be trained to that level so that you can acquire a career base to continue your passion? Because I certainly wouldn't want to be on somebody's baseball team. No, you wouldn't want me. You'd be like, all right, let's get her out.
Well, that's great to offer all the different opportunities to all the different age groups. That's great. So you have classes offered in art, dance, drama, music, and voice. Can you give a brief description of the type of classes you offer?
We offer children's art classes. We offer diversification for the children's art classes where they can do many different mediums, many different styles, many different ways of going. And then we have the adults on the bottom, and then we also have teens. So we go from the gambit of 4 and 5-year-olds all the way straight up through to the adults for visual arts.
And I would imagine there's probably beginner levels all the way up to...
Well, the teachers actually teach, if say you're 6 years old and you're in a class of 8-year-olds and you've never drawn before, so you'd be started out with a piece of paper and here you go, this is what you're going to do, and the teacher will walk away for a little bit and then he'll start somebody else that's a little more advanced and then they'll have a project going, come back and see what you're doing, and then go, okay, well, why don't you try doing it this way and why don't you try doing it that way? So it's almost like individual attention to what your needs are as a student in an art class. Well, the picture went away.
And you had art camps that you were going to discuss.
Right. We have Art by the Sea this year. For the past summer, we had Art by the Sea. We also had long time ago famous artist camps where Chris would end up doing different types of activities with them. We have Princess Summer Camp that went by, a lot of little girls in that. Then we also have a student art show that was in June. That comes up once a year, and hopefully in March of this year I'll get a juried art show going for more advanced artists. The juried art show always had a mayor's award where the mayor would come in and judge and pick his favorite picture and buy it for the township, and then those paintings would hang in your town hall or in the courtroom or through the hallways in the new building that was built as the adjunct. So I'm trying to get that back up and going to get an juried art show going back up.
And you advertise those programs through your website?
Through the website, Facebook. Mostly we do one-time advertising. Most of our stuff is through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. A lot of our stuff has gone for social media. A lot of the blintzes that we do, like right now we're doing the campaign for summer camps and things like that and for the summer dance programs. So I have a PR person who's fabulous, Kelly Harris. She just pumps the stuff out, and she's just out in social media more than print. We do 2 prints. One's coming up for the fall that we're doing, and we had done one in the summer, and they usually go out in May for summer, and fall comes out in August. So.
And you have those annual programs, so that's going to be on a yearly basis.
We have
you do that.
mostly rolling registration. What we
Okay.
try to do for like the dance program is we try to encourage you, if you're going into the one side of the dance program, to start in September, because it's sequential learning as opposed to just coming in 9 weeks and you quit. Our goal is to train you to be a lifelong learner as opposed to giving you instant gratification, because our philosophy for our mission statement was to promote either beginning artists, hobbyists, and or professionals. So in order to carry out that mission statement that Cygnus always had, we try to encourage people to sign up for September and last the whole year.
Okay.
Only because of the way the teacher structures their classes. So
That's great. Getting back to the programs, can you tell me a little bit about your dance programs?
the dance is almost a 3-level program. I just interjected the recreation program, which is on the right side, left side, and then we have the dance academy, which is a little more serious. So the recreation program is not in competition with your township program. Ours is open up to all of Atlantic County. And the reason that we started the recreation program was to give a different dimension to our mission statement. We're supposed to serve everyone. So in order to serve everyone, we can't be exclusive with just a dance academy type of a program. We need to afford people that just want to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So the teachers that teach the academy program also teach the recreation program. I'm not hiring it's the same program, it's just your goal is different. Your goal is to have fun, learn to dance. Maybe you'll get oh, I like this a lot. Let me sign up in September. Let me go through the year-long program.
Right.
That
So
type
it
of
basically
thing.
is a building block to basically kind of sounds like a beginner program
Correct.
to see if you're interested in
Right,
a
and then
professional-
mom and dad doesn't, because dance is expensive. It's not as expensive as a gymnastics type of academy, because the training, the older you get and the more you like, it's like potato chips. You just can't buy one jazz class or one tap class. Then you got to add the ballet classes, and then it's this class, and then it's that. And pretty soon mom and dad are shelling out lots of bucks. So you got to know you want to commit to something to be good at it. And since our goal is a lifelong learner, we don't want to injure your body by just throwing you into point shoes if you aren't ready.
Ready for it, right? And you have other dance programs as well, right? Besides
The ARC program and the seniors program. So I have 4 sections. I'd have
Okay.
the recreation, the academy, senior citizens for 65 plus, and the special constituents.
That's great.
And I'd like to start art to do the same type of similarity of that type of diversification on levels and things like that. But I can't seem to figure out how to get the art program to do a recreation type of a atmosphere.
But you're involved in that organization as you try to develop your
Right.
programs. That's great. So back to the programs, what type of drama classes do you have?
We have Kevin McCafferty, who's fabulous. He came last summer, and he writes original parodies on musicals. So his first film musical are the top slides, not the middle slide, but the top 2 slides centering the middle one, were If Life Were a Musical last summer. And he used all popular musicals, and he rewrote the words to the songs, and he created a storyline. And the students that registered for the summer class, he wrote the dialogue for them personally. As he got to know who you were, he was writing as he was going. In the fall, he did Yelp last year in 2017. That was not a musical, and it was based on all horror films. And then this past summer, he did If Life Were a Musical, Rock the Ages. And he took parodies on all rock songs. David Bowie, Michael Jackson were a few. And what he does is he uses middle school, high school students, and they're actors. They work on the sets. They work on the technical aspects of the production. And they're involved in everything of building a film, making a film, participating in a film. So he's really ingenious in the way he incorporates everyone. It's a 4-week camp, 9:30 to 3:30 every day he's with them.
So basically that every year that you have that program, he's curtailing that to your students. So every year it could be different, and he
Yes.
just ties that into what
Yep.
their abilities and interests are.
Yep.
That's great.
And that's what he does, and he's great at it. So this fall we'll have Yelp coming up again for Yelp too.
Oh, great. So something to look forward to. So how are our music and voice lessons provided?
They're half-hour basis. We have 2 percussionists, Fred Rushmore and Ron Moultrie, I always pronounce his name wrong, he cracks up. They're the percussionists. Fred is up in the corner. We have Natalia for piano, and we also have general music, guitar. We have Fred McKee and Anthony Rayo. We also have Emily Pitiri, who's our new vocal instructor. So she does half-hour lessons for them as well. That was like memorizing everybody's name. I'm like, did I get everybody?
And when you bring up those instruments, you have students, I would imagine, come in and they say, I'm interested in learning about guitar.
Yep.
What type of guitar? Is it bass? Is it electric?
Yep.
What is it? And then you curtail a program for them.
Yep, the teacher does that. If the teacher is skilled in all the guitars, he'll just teach them acoustic all the way up to electric guitar, bass. Anthony Rayo is a general music teacher by trade, so he's able to teach all instruments, sax, violin, things like that.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah, Fred teaches mostly percussion, but he's taught piano in the past as well. Natalia is a specialist. She's a concert pianist, so her concentration is piano only. And Emily was trained vocally as an opera singer, and she teaches piano as well on the side.
That's great. It's a vast amount of programs that you have there for the arts, so
Yep.
that's great.
Most of the teachers that are at Cygnus are either professionals and have college degrees and work in the industry currently and are public school teachers.
And how do you get those individuals to teach?
You ask them.
You ask them, and you just, well, you know
Matt,
the area.
Matt, I know you teach strings.
Yeah.
Do you want to teach at Cygnus? And you'll be like, and I'm like, well, you can do whatever hours you want. You want to pick up an extra couple bucks, blah, 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 come see me.
And you're in the area, so you know who to ask.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, well, Cynthia, that was really informative. Let's take a short break for community events, and when we come back, we'll talk more with Cynthia Domino and learn more about what Cygnus Creative Arts Center does in the township. Welcome back to the Mayor's Forum. My guest is Cynthia Domino, Artistic Director at Cygnus Creative Arts Center. Welcome back.
Thank you, Matt.
Cynthia, I understand that the Atlantic Pops is associated with Cygnus. Can you tell us about the Pops?
Yes, the Pops have been in residence at the community center since 2008. It's under the auspices of Mark Kadetsky. He's the musical director. He's also on our board of directors. So he plays an important integral role. That is him conducting. Look how serious he is. He's not usually that serious. He's a little more jovial. Yes, and that is one of his guest artists that perform and conduct for him. They usually have guest artists in, and that's during a rehearsal period. That's why you don't see any audience members. But the Atlantic Pops adds to the community because the concerts are free, and they do 3 concerts every year. The Toys for Tots are, they ask you to bring a toy as a donation. They don't make you, so it's up to you if you want to do it. The Hero Campaign, and they also do a summer concert. So the summer concert this year has passed, and they're gearing up for the Christmas holiday performance. It's open to all of the township. They usually draw about 450 people, and they have wonderful, wonderful opportunities for the dancers. In performance is the one toy drive, and then we have rehearsals for the summer and the Hero Campaign. Mark gives me the music, and then I work with the dancers to put together the sections. Working with live musicians is a completely different ballgame than working with a CD or canned music, because you've got the human element of error. The tempo could change, somebody could cough, something could get off, the conductor might be in a really happy mood and play it too fast. So the dancers get to work with another human being, basically, and then they have the ensemble behind them to support the material.
And you do the same. You mentioned the 3 annual events. That's advertised through your social media
Yes.
to get them out to the
Well,
community. so they're aware
also,
of it?
Mark does a lot of that on Facebook. They send a lot of the stuff out. His father does a lot of the PR work for them as well, and they have posters that they draw up for most of their concerts and things. So they're accessible online. We do it on our website and through social media as well.
That's great. So residents keep an eye out for those as
Yeah,
it comes
it's
up
a
through the-
really good, 400 plus people. All the chairs are usually used throughout the whole process, so the whole auditorium is full. It's really he does a really good job.
That's great. So in the past, Cygnus has staged several semi-professional ballets that were truly remarkable. How did they come to be?
Oh, they were huge. The township, when we had first come in, the schools were available at the end of the year. So I had always wanted to put together large ballets because that's where I came from, was the Bucks County Ballet Company, and we'd always did the Nutcracker, and then we would always do a spring performance, and I loved it. So by doing the ballets, it opened up an avenue for dancers throughout Atlantic County to participate. So we would have open auditions because that's what our dance teacher did. So we staged Cinderella, Snow White was an original that I did, Hansel and Gretel. Firebird, but I did original choreography. Ice Maiden was completely original. Giselle was a restaged work because Giselle is a classic, and normally you have to do that. Those are the willies going across the stage. And Sleeping Beauty is another classic, but it's my choreography, so it's kind of my interpretation of what went on. When you restage a ballet, you basically take the other choreographer's concept and put together the steps that best suit the dancer you're working with. We would hire principals and soloists from the Pennsylvania Ballet, Buffalo Inner City Ballet, Pittsburgh Ballet, and they would come in as a musician would say, our ringers. And I would work with them 3 weeks before the show. They'd learn my material, and then they would just come plunk, dress rehearsal night. And the cast would be comprised of all the dancers in Atlantic County, and they had the supportive roles. Sometimes the soloist would dance with one of my dancers, or not my dancer, but a cast.
Yes.
The dancers that auditioned were completely subjective. I had nothing to do with it. I would hire people to audition them, and they'd say, here's your cast list, and I'd be okay. And that's who you'd work with. Funding was provided by Peter Miller going out and the board members seeking donations. And they were really expensive productions, so that's why we haven't done them in a while.
And the board members were key, it sounds like, in making that happen.
Yeah, because you'd have, who do you know, Matt? Matt, do you know anybody that could give us $1,000 donation? Do you know anybody else you can reach out to for $5,000? Mm-hmm. They were very expensive shows. So we haven't done any in a while, simply because it's really, really cost effective. We used to have a lot of audience members, and we have people asking us, are you ever going to do one of those ballets? And I would love to, but they were very expensive to put up.
You mentioned back in 2010 there was a township's 300th anniversary. Cygnus commissioned the original play about John McKee. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Peter reached out and said, you know, Cygnus needs to be a part of this. John McKee was an integral part of the history. A Gift from John McKee is an original play that was written and directed by Ken Yeomans. And John McKee was instrumental in the township because he was one of the first entrepreneurs and real estate mongrels, basically, back in the 1800s, and he was the first wealthiest black man that owned thousands and thousands of acres between Delaware, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. And he had his residence in Egg Harbor Township in McKee City, and he owned 4,000 acres, and it spanned from like Mays Landing down that bike path that is now the bike path. There used to be a railroad, and the train stop was McKee City's train stop, and he had that built for the train to stop by his school, which was the McKee City School. And he wanted to have that as a boys' school, for a private boys' school, and all the land down West Jersey Avenue was owned by him, and he would bring the slaves up, because he was born of a slave family back in 1800s, and he would release the slaves from down south and basically bring them up onto his land, and then they cultivated his properties up here. So it was basically kind of an exchange of a slave down south to a slave up north for him. And so he kind of was a nice guy, but kind of not a nice guy.
Well, and it sounds like you really incorporated history into the arts and brought that to the community.
And that was our gift back to the community, so that the community understood why it was called McKee City and not Egg Harbor Township. And through the learning process of putting it all together, Ken Yeomans did a fabulous job. We cast the play and got grant money for it. Again, the board and Peter went out and reached out to the community to give us the money to subsidize for the production, because all the sets were designed and lighting was by Joe Lazarus. Costumes had to be made. Trisha Mallett did the costuming, and all the rehearsals were done with Ken Yeoman. He would set up the schedule and the actors came in.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I think you got into this a little bit, Cindy, but how old are the students that take classes at Cygnus?
We offer classes for anyone from ages 40 all the way up to 90 years old. If you want to do something, we'll have something for you. You want to
great.
paint? Here you go. Here's a paintbrush.
And do you develop that specific to, if it's arts, dance,
Yep.
music, whatever?
I'm developing the art. I want to get deeper into the art and get a more general program like I have for the dance recreation. I want a more general art program.
So if how does one sign up for those classes?
You can go online. You can stop by in person at 5045 English Creek Avenue. You can also, fall registration begins Wednesday, August 29th, and September 4th through the 6th.
Again, I think you got into this a little bit already, Cindy, but who oversees the operation of Cygnus as far as?
We have our 9 more board members and myself. We've had 4 board members that have been on Cygnus for the past 15 years, and the others have been on board. The board members, mostly the officers, are the ones that maintain the integrity of Cygnus books, the direction Peter drives us, and then the directors are the ones that have to basically go out and do the grunt work and things that we need done doing it. I oversee all the daily operations, the programming, the grants, faculty, student behavior, all that type of stuff is my job as artistic director. So.
That's great. And the directors really seem key, like you mentioned with the ballets, and helping to get some of that funding.
Yeah, if they didn't donate or get money, they'd be backstage helping or selling tickets or pushing ticket sales out somewhere in the community. I mean, everybody does a job somewhere, someplace, sometime.
That's great. So where do you see Cygnus going in the next 25 years?
Well, when all of the board members retire and I retire, I hope I have a strong leader in place. I hope there's a strong president to keep the integrity of what our mission statement is. So my hope is that it still lives and someone finds it valuable enough to keep nurturing it and growing it and expanding programs and offering more through the community.
And it sounds like through the programs that you have, you're starting to start that succession planning to make sure that they're there on an annual basis.
Yep, you start to pick people's brains that you see that might have the proclivity to do something like this.
And right.
Yeah.
And that passion that you obviously have.
Yeah. That's the key, is mostly the passion and tenacity, because it's not pretty sometimes, and sometimes it's wonderful. It's like anything else. I mean,
well, and to be able to develop the relationships that you have to get your teachers and things of that nature to develop the programs that you discussed, that's really key. And
I'm
without
really
that
proud
passion,
of the faculty, because they've been with me. Some of them have been with me since the inception. And then the other board members, 18, 15, you know.
Right.
That says a lot about the strength of the organization and the people that are involved. Leadership is extremely important in a nonprofit organization as small as ours. So.
Well, thank you, Cindy, for being
Thank
here
you
today.
so much
No,
for
thank
letting
you.
me speak.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you for sharing with the residents what Cygnus provides to our community. I truly believe that Cygnus has provided opportunities in the arts for all residents that wouldn't be possible without your organization. I wish you continued success.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If our viewers have a topic of discussion or a person you would like the mayor to interview on the Mayor's Forum, please contact the Township at 609-926-4044. Thank you for joining us today.